안녕하세요. We are going to learn indirect quotations. What is indirect quotations? I have some example sentences here. Mia says Steve is kind. Mia asks if Steve drinks coffee. Mia told Steve to study Korean. Mia said let's eat dinner. So the first sentence is a statement. Second sentence is questions. And the third sentence is command. And the last one is proposal. So you need to know how to say these sentences in indirect quotations in Korean. And there are 4 types of sentences. So you need to know 4 different conjugations, one for each type of the sentence. For quotations in Korean, what you need to do is you need to know the plain form endings. So you can just use a plain form ending plus 고 했어요 except for command type of sentence. Then you need to be able to tell what type of sentence it is. And lastly, as mentioned, for command type, you need to use 으라고. Quotations for statement. Mia says Steve is kind. How would you say that in Korean? 미아는 스티브가 친절하다고 했어요. 친절하다고 했어요. To be kind is a 친절하다, and the plain form of 친절하다 is 친절하다. Why? Because for adjective, dictionary form and the plain form is the same. Let's move on to the next sentence. Mia says Steve watches dramas. How would you say that in Korean? 미아는 스티브가 드라마를 본다고 했어요. So for verb, after consonant, you need to use 는다. And for vowel, you need to use 니은다. So 보다 becomes 본다. Other examples, 먹다 becomes 먹는다 because it ends with consonant, and 가다 becomes 간다. So as you can see, when you want to use quotations in Korean, you need to know the plain form. Then you just need to add 고 했어요. For questions, Mia asked if Steve drinks coffee. How would you say that in Korean? 미아는 스티브가 커피 마시냐고 했어요. What about the next sentence? Mia asked if Steve eats Korean food. It'll be 미아는 스티브가 한국 음식을 먹냐고 했어요. You need to use 냐고 했어요 for quotations, for question type of sentence. As the textbook shows, you can also use 느냐, but it may sound somewhat awkward in some situation. So for convenience, just use 냐고 했어요 for question type of quotations. For command, okay, let's take a look at a few examples. Mom said eat dinner. In Korean, you will be saying 엄마가 저녁 먹으라고 했어요. Okay, let's move on to the next sentence. Mom said do homework. 엄마가 숙제하라고 했어요. So for command type, you need to use 으라. So after consonant, 으라. After vowel, you need to use 라. Okay. Please remember You're not using the plain form ending for command. The plain form ending for command is 어라 and 알아. However, we're not using that for quotation. Okay? For quotation, you need to use 으라. Consonant plus 으라 and vowel plus 라. Okay, for proposal. Mom said let's eat dinner. 엄마가 저녁 먹자고 했어요. Okay, next sentence. Mom said, let's go now. 엄마가 지금 가자고 했어요. So this is very simple. You just need to use 자고 했어요. 자고 했어요. Okay, let's do some translation. Number 1. Mia says she's reading the book. How would you say that in Korean? 미아는 책을 읽는다고 했어요. 그렇죠? 읽는다고 했어요. It's a verb and it ends with a consonant, so you need to use 는다. So 는다 plus 고 했어요. Mia asked if Mike is coming. Asked, so it's a question type. Therefore, 미아는 마이크가 오냐고 했어요. 오냐고 했어요. Or you can also use word 물어봤어요, meaning to ask. Okay, 3번. Mia told me to wait until 5 o'clock. How'd you say that in Korean? 미아는 5시까지 기다리라고 했어요. 기다리라고 했어요. 그렇죠? 기다리다 is the dictionary form. And when you want to use that word for quotation, it becomes 기다리라고 했어요. This part is actually can be omit, told me. But if you want to include that in your Korean sentence, you can say 나한테 or 나에게. Okay, 4번. Mia said, let's go to the library. How would you say that in Korean? 미아는 도서관에 가자고 했어요. It's a proposal type, right? So, 가자고 했어요. 5번. Mia asked if Mike met the teacher. Question type, right? So, 미아는 마이크가 선생님을 만났냐고 했어요. You need to use the past tense. So, 만났냐고 했어요. 6번. Mia said Lisa is pretty. So, this is a statement type. 미아는 리사가 예쁘다고 했어요. Pretty is an adjective, so the dictionary form and the plain form is the same. So 예쁘다고 했어요. How was the lesson? That's it for this video. 예, 수고했어요. 다음 시간에 봐요.